This conference will now be recorded.
So there are two kinds of settings. One is organization and second one is project settings. I want to invite a new user. Where I need to do that? Organization settings, users and add the user. What is contributor and what is reader? What is the difference between contributor and an administrator? Contributor cannot add the users. Okay. What are the three different kinds of access levels that you have seen? Uh, Stakeholder. Stakeholder. Visual Studio subscriber. I want to invite 100 people. What kind of access I need to give them? Stakeholder. If you want to give access to 5 people, what kind of access? So basic can be restricted to 5 people. Okay. And one more point is, what is the branch where I have the original code? Main or master. How did you protect the branch? Pull request is fine, but by policies. What policies? Branching policies. Okay. Name some of the few branching policies that you have used. Adding the number of required reviewers. Okay. Limit merge step. Author email validation. Limit merge types. And status of the build to be succeeded. And any other file path validation. And you can use the case sensitivity, case enforcement. All these things you can do with the policies. Once I have enabled some branching policy, is it possible for me to directly make changes in the main branch? No. Why? What was the error? Not HCL.com. You can, like, I removed that HCL.com. That setting itself is disabled. Okay, then like, is it possible for me to make the changes in the main branch? Still no. If it is no, what was the error? Like, what you need to do if you want to do? I enable branching policy, and then I am trying to make the changes on the main branch itself. I used to get one error. What is that error? Uh-huh. Not the reviewers. Reviewers are not enabled. In order to make some changes into the repository, you need to create a pull request. That was the original. Like, there, by seeing in the error itself, you will find it. So if you want to make some changes, you need to create a PR. Why we use PR? No. What is the use of PR? Yeah, merging is the main concept. Okay. How many kinds of merge types are there? Name any two. Merge no fast forward and merge no fast forward is the one, and squash commit. Merge linear, rebase and fast forward. There are four things inside that. Okay. Okay, let's go back to this DevOps and let's see. No, I think this is not the one. I think this is the one that we have logged in yesterday. So this is the project, and whenever I create a PR, there what I am doing, I am adding the number of reviewers, right? I don't want to each and every time. I don't want to add the reviewers. I want them to be automatically included. So where you can make the change? Branching policies itself. You need to add the including number of reviewers. Okay. So that is related to the project settings that we have discussed yesterday. So out of all these services, which service we are like, which one we are doing? Repositories. So you have settings and all these policies you have seen security. This is fine. I will explain you this later. Before, if I want to explain, I want to explain all these things. Okay. So first, try to create all. First, try to utilize it, and then we will understand what about all these options. Now, tell me one scenario. I have 10 new people who has joined in our company called HCL. I have 10 people who has joined in our company, and these 10 people are DevOps engineers. I want to give them the access. First, I want to make them as reader. So what are you going to do? Add the user, and while selecting the user, there itself give the reader access. At some point of time, like after 1 month or 2 months, again I want to change the permissions to contributor. What are you going to do? Again, go to that user, change access level, and you are going to keep it as contributor. Again, I want to bring them as reader. How many times you are doing for 10 people? 30 times. Is it a good practice? At that time, what you have to do?
We need to create active directory.
Exactly. So if I want to send a specific message to every people, first what I will do, I'll create the WhatsApp group and then I'll send it in the group itself, so that everybody inside the group will be able to see all the changes, right? Like the same way, I'll create a group. Inside the group, I'll add all the people. If I want to give permissions, do I need to give it related to the people or related to the group? If I want to give any permissions, I want to give it to the people or the group. So if you give it on the group level, so everybody inside the group will be able to access. They are able to get the same permissions. Now where I can do this in Azure DevOps. So let's see. So if you go to the teams in the project settings, for example, I have a care project. In this, by default, whenever you create any project, with that project name, it is going to create a team. And as of now, in this team, we have only one user, that is Hemant, because he is the organizer. I want to create a new team. The team name is DevOps team, and then I want to add the members here. So here is where I can add the members. So I want Hemant, and then I want yesterday I have created one more person, right? Azure DevOps 235. I want to add these two people into the team. I added. At some point of time, I want to add some more people into the same team. Let me just go back to the home page, and I want to add some people into the same team. Now tell me how I can add. Go to the project and go to the project settings, teams. To which team I want to add? This team, right? So click on the team, and you can see the members here. There is only one person as of now. And if you want to add like DevOps team, right? I just created. Add this and add the people here. Like this you can do it, but in real time they are not like, the requests are going not going to come like this. They are going to send the request like, whatever Ramesh is having the access, the same kind of access this Suresh also should have. At that time, what is your situation? First you need to find the access of Ramesh. So wherever Ramesh is there, there I need to add Suresh. How you can do it? So let's see. So, like as of now, here I am in the teams, right? So let's go to this team, and here in the members, I am able to see the members. Search for a user or group. For example, I want to know about this person, what kind of access he is having. I'll just click on this, refresh the page, and see this. So this is where you add it, right? Let's go to settings and see. I just want to complete the tab itself. So that's why I'm going to the settings. See, anything is there which is useful for you? Nothing. You can just see the administrator of this group. Since this is the account which was created by Hemant, we are able to see that person name here. If you want to add an administrator for this team, you can add the admin people. If you want to delete the team, you can delete it from here. Till this point, it is fine. Let's go to permissions. First, I want to find the access of Ramesh, right? First, so here everything is a group, but I want to find out the user level or group level.
Uh,
Ramesh is a user
so,
group.
Sorry, can you please record the session?
I'm not recording. Yes, it is recording. It is recording, Chaitanya, actually. Sorry, there is a message also. Yes, it is recording. Yeah, I clicked on recording, right? Ah, yes, I remember. Okay, so first I want to find out the access of Ramesh. What kind of permissions does Ramesh having? The same kind of permissions I need to give it to Suresh. So first I need to check the access of Ramesh. How can you check it? If you go to the permissions, under permissions, let's go to the users. What kind of user that you want to set the access for? Hemant. And see this. Hemant is having all these kind of permissions. And if you see allow means they are going to allow this deleting this node. And let's come to the test plans or analytics or boards. What kind of access does he is having? He is having all the allow permissions. This is fine. And I want to find out this Hemant is a member of which teams or which group. Hemant is a member of all these groups. So that's why I need to add Suresh also in all these groups. How can you add? So that is where you just need to take the duplicate tab, and what you need to do is here, this is the group name, right? Here I need to go to the members. I need to add that person in real time. 1000% I'm going to say that like you are going to get this kind of request. Whatever the access that Hemant is having, the same kind of access if you want to get it, like this kind of request you are going to get. Whatever the access Hemant is having, I want to give it to this Suresh person. So first you are going to check for what Hemant is having, like out of all the teams, in which teams he is a member of. So if he is, you are going to check like this, and then go to the members, go to this particular group, and go to members, add the member. So to which person I want to add? As of now, I don't have Suresh here, right? I'll just going to add one person. Like let's consider this is Suresh. Add this person. Like this, I'm able to add it or not? Yes, like this. So you are able to add one person into the group. Can I include one group into another group? Is it possible or not possible? For example, I have a DevOps group. There are 10 people. I want to include the DevOps groups completely into this project collection administrator. Is it possible or not possible?
Possible.
Yes, it is possible. How? If you go to the member of, you can also see that he is a member of different project called collection valid users. Just try to add these, search for the groups. You can add for the group level, also you can add for the user level. So you can include n number of groups in a specific group, or also you can include n number of users in a specific group. Either ways you can do vice versa. For example, I want to utilize DevOps team here. Save this. See, he is a member of all these things. Like this is some simple things. If you want to find out the info, like permissions of a specific user, you need to go to the permissions and go to the users and search for that user. And once you search for that user, let's consider Hemant. It is looking in groups. You need to go for Hemant. Like this, you need to be aware. In real time, also, this is going to be a problem. Once you click on the group and go to users, again it will go to groups. So you need to take care of this. And he is a member of what groups? He is a member of all these groups. So if you want to add the person into these groups, you can add them directly. So you just take the one original tab and just make a duplicate tab and see all the groups and add them. So you don't have to come back and again. You understood, right? It's a easy process. So like this, you need to do it. Okay. Then what about build administrator, what about contributor, what these people can do? I am saying that these are the groups. What does each group represent? Did I create these groups? No, by default it is there. What does a build administrator can do? See, member of this group can create, modify and delete the build definitions and manage queues and completed builds. Like as an administrator, he can perform all these operations. Like you just need to put some time on investigating this. See, a contributor, what he can do, he can create, modify, he can edit, but a build administrator can invite other people also to this team. What does a project administrator do? It is related to the project level administrator. On a project level, if you want to perform any kind of operations, he can do it. Project valid users. Member of this group can have access to the team projects. So if you I want only specific people to access only this project. So first add all of the users under project valid user. So that give access on the project valid users level itself. So that whoever are there inside that group, they will be getting the access. Readers. Readers is a group, or it's a group. Add, if I want to give out of 100 people, if I want to give 10 people a reader access, first add the 10 people into the reader and then give the permissions like reader. And release administrator, like you can study the description about it, what each group can perform. But in real time, you get an request saying that whatever the access that Hemant is having, first you want to find it out. Once if you find it out, you need to give them the access. So going into the users, you will search for him, and then you are going to look whether he is a member of how many groups. You need to add them under all the groups. And once it is done, you have done only giving the adding him under the groups. After that, there is some more process that you need to follow. I'll explain later. Till this point, any doubt related to the permissions and members of? Okay. And in interviews, they are going to ask you the questions like, what is build administrator? What is project valid user? What is contributor? They are going to ask you some questions related to this. You need to give them the description like this. He can manage, the reader can only be able to read, but he will not be able to make any modifications in the build definition. What is build definition? That all things you will understand later. He won't be able to make any builds deleted. All these things you can mention. So here they are going to see this. They will be having only the reading access, but they won't be having any modifications. They won't be having any kind of access like this. Okay. What do you mean by notifications? Getting an email update or something. Whenever I created a pull request, I received a email address or not? If the pull request is completed, I need to receive an email. If the pull request fails, I need to receive an email address. If the build success, then also I need to even if the build fails, I need to receive an email address. Like if you're like, these are all notifications. If you want to have these kind of notifications, you can do it. So by default, everything will be enabled in the real time. Nobody is going to make any changes in notifications. Everything will be enabled by default. And then let's go, like we have created the teams permissions and notifications. These are all related to project settings. Let's go back to the organization settings, and there we will see some few options. So these are projects we already seen. If you want to delete a project, how can you delete it? This is what the interview question they have asked in earlier. How can I delete a project? Go to organization settings, and there you can delete the project. This was an interview question that was asked. Nobody will concentrate on these kind of small questions, but this is very important. You need to go to organization level, and under organization you have projects. So from the organization settings only, you need to delete that. Okay. Users you have already known, and let's go to billing. I'm 100% damn sure that nobody will be able to access this in the real time, because the company don't want you to see that billing thing and everything, right? So that's why you won't be getting the access to this. Not only to this, even if you go to the Azure, there also they won't be giving you access to the billing. So that will be gone for the auditing purpose. Basically, your managers used to take care of these things. And global notifications. What do you mean by global notifications? See, build completes, all these things, subscribers, statistics. These are all related to this auditing purpose. Like whenever the build gets completed, success, failed, anything, I want to receive the notification. By default, everything will be enabled. You don't have to make any changes in the notifications part. And then we have Azure Active Directory. See this. I have a company called HCL. In that HCL company, I need to maintain the user's information, right? Where I need to maintain the user's information? Is it in Excel sheet? No. Is it somewhere in the folders? No. Where are you going to maintain the user's information? I'm going to maintain the user information in an Active Directory. A Active Directory is not only for storing the user information, it is also responsible for creating the roles and assigning the roles to the users. What kind of a role? Reader, contributor, anything. And also we can create some groups in the Active Directory, because in Active Directory we already have users. So there itself you can create the groups. That group is called as AD group, Active Directory group. So as of now, understand like this: Active Directory is for storing the users information, like username, user email address, and their permissions and roles. Okay. HCL will have 3,000 employees. Those 3,000 employees will be having some different roles, right? 100 will be manager, 100 will be developers, 2,000 will be testers. There will be some n number of roles. So based upon the role, they are going to add the peoples. Like they create the users in the Active Directory and they will assign the roles to those people. Why they are doing it there? Why not somewhere else? We'll see. Because they need to have a centralized location where they can control the access of each and everybody through the Active Directory level itself. Based upon, like, let's consider I am a developer and you are the manager. As a developer, is it possible for me to look into your salary? As a manager, is it possible for you to look into my salary? How it is possible? Based upon the role. So I will create some roles and I will assign the roles to the users so that they will be having access to the specific roles. Like that, we will be having an Active Directory. An Active Directory contains the users information, like roles and permissions, whatever they want to. Like once the Active Directory is created, and we will add the users into the Active Directory. As of now, I am saying Active Directory. This Active Directory is completely on premises. But what are we doing is we are doing everything in the cloud, right? So the same Active Directory services is developed by Microsoft Azure, and they named it as Azure Active Directory. It's a cloud-based one. Wherever you see Azure, that means it's a cloud one. Azure Active Directory. So where am I going to maintain my users information? In Azure Active Directory. Okay. Let's take an example. My company is like Deloitte, and I want to give the access of my Azure DevOps to the company people who are like HCL people. How these HCL people can access my Azure DevOps? This is the first point. So first, HCL is maintaining the Active Directory, right? Where they are maintaining the user information. I will take that Active Directory and I will connect that Active Directory to here. So what happens? The user's information list can be available here or not once I connect. So I connected it. I connected 3,000 people. So in that Active Directory, there are 3,000 people. In that 3,000 people, only 10 people needs to have the access of DevOps. Then how? So in their Active Directory, what they are going to do is they are going to assign a role called DevOps, and they will assign that role to all those 10 people. So only the 10 people will be able to access this. And even if you see, once I connected the Active Directory, if you go to add user, for example, you are looking for something called Ramesh at the rate HCL, automatically it is going to populate once Active Directory is connected. Understood. So once it is connected, see, if you are trying to send an email to a person, automatically it is going to show you like a number of people. So how it is showing if you are connected with the Active Directory? Like this, I can make use of Active Directory to be connected to my Azure DevOps, and I can make the other people organizations to access my DevOps. So what I need to do is I don't have to go to users and add all the users. So simply ask their Active Directory to connect to your Azure DevOps account so that you can make them to access your Azure DevOps. Connect your organizations to Azure Active Directory. This maps existing Azure DevOps users in the organizations to their corresponding identities in the Azure AD. Identities means like, for example, I am a tester. Testing is my identity. Like simple examples, role or identity, we can call it as. So this way, you can connect to the other organization Active Directory to make use of your Azure DevOps. Okay. Till this point, it is fine. Usage. Let's go to usage. Who has created what, and which person is trying to make what changes. If you go to the usage, you will be able to see all the usage, like whoever has tried to access something. See, everything is done by this Hemant only. See, and what they are trying to access, all these things you are able to see it here. Fine. With this, we have seen all the settings under organization settings. And if you go to the project settings again back, so I was just discussing about the settings so far, whatever we have discussed related to that. There are some more settings which we need to discuss. I mean, we'll discuss that. Okay. Permissions, notifications, what is service hooks is a different one. Dashboard is a different one. And teams, we have already seen that. Now, let's do one thing. Now tell me, I'm going to create one more project and I want to get the original code from somewhere else. So let's consider I'm most familiar with the .NET applications. I don't know Java, give anything, I don't know. I'm most familiar with .NET application. So now tell me, .NET application, right? In which tool or in which software the developers are going to write the code in .NET? Visual,
Visual Studio.
okay, Visual Studio. Once they write the code, what they need to do? They need to build it. How they are going to build it? So there should be a build tool, right? They can build it with the help of Visual Studio or MS Build. Visual Studio Build or MS Build. You can take any of these two and you can build it. Once you do the build, you will get some output, right? Those called as build binaries. Okay. If it is a .NET application, you use Visual Studio to write the code. Once you write the code, you need to build it, right? You can build it either by using Visual Studio Build or MS Build. Once you build it, you are going to get the output rights. Those are called as build binaries. Okay. What is the format of the output? If it is a .NET application, it is .dll. Okay. Let's take Java. I am going to write some Java code. What is the tool that I am going to write the Java? Where I am going to write the Java code? Eclipse. Eclipse is the tool to write the Java code. Once you written the code, what you need to do it? You need to build it. What is the tool to build a Java? Maven. Once you do the build, you are going to get build binaries. What is the output like? What is the build binaries output? Dot jar or var files. Dot jar or dot var files. This is the output. If it is a .NET application, you need to get .dlls. If it is a Java application, you need to get the output as .jar or .var. Okay, let me try randomly something in the Google and let's try to build an application. Okay, so first I will search for the project and then I will start implementing that. Okay, so let's take this. I want which project? .NET project, right? Sample ASP. ASP stands for Active Server Pages. Sample ASP.NET. What I want to create is there are two kinds of applications: desktop application and web application. First, we'll see about web application. Web application means, what do you mean by web application? web application, the web pages. Okay, I want a sample ASP.NET web application code. Basically, from where you will get the code? Where did you save? Where did you save your code? GitHub and Azure repos.
GitHub.
GitHub is a public. GitHub is a public repository or a private? Both. Some people will be using saving their code in public. Some people will be saving their code in private. If it is a private, you cannot access it. But if there is any code in the public, you can access it, right? In the last, I'll keep GitHub. And see, you see that there is some color change. That means that I have already used this earlier. I don't want to use it again. And see this github.com, github.com, github. That means these links are from GitHub URLs. And see this ASP.NET sample application GitHub. And this was done by some other person. I don't know. So let me just select that. And let's see. And this is where you need to see. What happens is, since this is a public repository, everybody will be practicing it. We are not sure whether it is going to be a correct code or not. Whether the application will build or also, we don't know. But we need to keep on trialing. Okay. And see this. And employee solutions, web application, web services. This is fine. This I can use, but I want to give you the easy one. And ASP.NET Web Forms, ASP.NET sample GitHub. Take this sample MVC.NET. And simple web app MVC, and this is going to .NET Core. No, I don't want any .NET Core. I want only .NET. .NET Core. .NET Core is there, and in Cubic Actual sample project. Let's take this and see this here. I already have opened this sometime. And if you see here, I have the code like here. I am saying it's a .NET application. And in this example, I was saying that if it is a .NET application, you need to use MS Build or Visual Studio Build. I was keep on saying that you need to build it, but which file you need to build it? I have 100 files. In that 100 files, do I need to build 100 files? No. There will be one file which the developer will be making. That one file you need to build it. What is that one file? If it is a .NET application, then it will be a .sln file. .sln. .sln stands for solution. If it is a Java, form.xml file. These are two files. If it is a .NET application, you need to build .sln. If it is a Java, you need to build .xml, form.xml file. In my case, it is ASP.NET, right? So I need to look for which one? .sln file. Let's go to this example. See whether we have the .sln or not. See this. We have the sample.sln file, right? So I can build this, right? Okay. I want this complete code. Go to the code and just copy this. And go back to your DevOps part. I want to create a new project. So I just want to create a new project, and the new project name is something called, I'm just going to keep it as GitHub project. And what do you want to make, private or public? So just create it. Once you create it, you see that there won't be any code inside the project. Now I want to bring the code from there to here. Let's go to the repo. Do you want to start it from the scratch, or you just want to import it? Import it. What is the URL? You copied right already from there. Paste it and just import. Is it going to ask you for password? Why? It's a public project. In real time, your project is going to be public or private? Private. So I just created a project, and this is the project, and this is the repository. Inside this repository, I have my code. I bought everything. Did it bring only the code or the history also? History also. If you want to see the history, go to commits. You can see the number of times he made the changes. And if you want to see the branches, he have two branches that we bought the two branches. Pull request, how many pull requests like this is in your local system? Okay, that's fine. I got all whatever the code that I want, I got it. Now what I want to do is, let's think that each and I bought all the code here. If you remember during the earlier stages, whatever the code change you make, each and every time you need to build it or not. Yes. Even if you make a simple line adding or line removal also, you need to build the solution file again. So that means you will get the latest file. If you make the latest build, you will get the latest update, like latest output. So whenever you make any code change, you need to keep on building it. Once you get the build, then you'll get the latest output. Fine. So I got all the code from here, code into my repository. Now what I want to do is I want to create a pipeline. Basically, why do we use pipelines? This is what the first question is. I want to see regularly. I regularly what I'm trying to do was, okay. I'll just explain a few steps here. I want to download the code from this repository on a daily basis. So what you are going to do? Go to this repo, clone this, and use the git bash to clone it into your local system. But if you do that, what is the output? You will get the complete repository. But I want that repository in a zip file. Is it possible? Directly by downloading, is it possible? Not possible. I'll tell you some few scenarios. First, why we use pipelines was to automate the process. What kind of automation that you are going to achieve by using the pipelines? We'll see the steps. First, create the pipeline. It is asking me, where is your code at? If you select this is where you have the code, right? But if you see here, it is YAML based. YAML stands for it ain't markup language. There is a syntax for it to create the pipeline. But as of now, you don't know what is pipeline or how to create the pipeline. I will go with the user interface. So use the classic editor. Use the classic editor. And now you can select through the user interface. Where is your code at? Azure Repos. What is the project name? This is the project name. Under this project, what is the repository? This is the repository. And which branch you want me to take? Master. Just continue. And select a template. Is it an empty job or you want to go with the .NET or something else? As of now, let's forget about this future door. I don't know anything. I'll just create a job. I just clicked on empty job. Now, what happens is here there is a plus symbol is there, right? So just click on this. What I want to achieve is I want to copy all the files, whatever there in the repository, and give it as an output to me. That is what I want. So here, if you take this plus symbol, you can add whatever the task that you want to perform. So what I will do is I want to copy first. I'm just going with the basic task right now to make you understand what the pipeline does. So I just entered copy and you can see the tasks here. Copy files over SSH. This is not what I want. Copy and publish build artifact, and you can see that this is deprecated. That means this service is not going to be available for you. Take the copy files. Copy files from the source folder to where? To the destination or target. This is what I want. I'll just take this copy files. Copy from where and copy in where? Understood. What is the source and what is the destination? How I can mention the Azure repos here? How I can mention that folder structure or anything? So just go with the default. If you click on this I symbol, you will get this agent.build directory. What is this? I will explain later. So just copy this. What do you want to copy? And I have a scenario. I have file1.txt. I have file2.exe. I have file3 dot json. I want to get the output of only JSON files. I, wa- I want to get only JSON files. How are you going to get it? Let's consider here there are three files. Now let me add one more file. I'm going to make this as file4 dot txt. How many files I have? Four files. In that, how many text files are there? Two files. I want to copy only the text files from this location to some other location. If it is one or two files, I will directly write the name and I can copy it. If there are 100 files, yeah. So you need to mention the format. What file you want? .txt, right? .txt is the extension. If I just keep file one dot file comma file one comma file four, it is going to copy only two things. But I want all the files which is ending with .txt. So the file name might be anything. So just keep star. So star means anything. So the file name will be anything, but I want the extension to be only .txt. Understood? Let's take one more example. I have Ramesh, Suresh, Mahesh. I want to get the number of people like whose name is ending with sh. Okay, star dot esh. Do you think that it is correct? So then what will be the actual? So earlier the file name itself we have .txt. That's why I represented .txt. But here, do we have dot in these names? No, right? Remove the dot. Star esh. Star means starting it can be anything, but in the ending it should be esh. Now take this. I want to find out the like I want to find out the number of people whose name will be starting with R. What are you going to write? R star. Correct. Yeah. If you mention R star, what happens? The starting letter should be R. After that, it can be anything. So that's why I mentioned star. Okay. Now, take one example. In the C drive, I have program files. I want to copy all the files from C drive to which location? D drive. D drive, I can make it as some movies folder. I want to copy all the files from whatever the extension might be. If you want to know what is the extensions, first you need to go there and see how many txt files are there, how many exe files are there, how many json files are there. But that's not the point that I want. I want to copy all the things from C drive to D drive. How can you keep it? So you just need to mention star star. Star star means anything, whatever the file might be. Just take everything and put it in that location. And if you see here in the source folder, I just mentioned this is called as variable. I will explain you what is variable later. So just copy whatever we have. It is shown in the here. And what do you want to copy? I want to copy everything, star star. And where do you want to paste it? So in the target folder also, you will be having one more. Copy this and paste it. Now what are these two? I'll tell you. If it is in your local system, how you are going to copy and paste it? You will go to that location, copy all the things, and you will go to the destination like D drive movies folder, and then you will paste it. But is it in your local system or cloud? Cloud. This is the first point. There you cannot define my C drive, D drive, or anything, right? So I am going to make use of variables. What do you mean by these variables? So in the C program files is there, right? Each and every time I cannot call this complete directory list. So at that time, what I'm going to do was I'm going to keep this as copy this and paste it like this. Every time I cannot copy the complete directory location. So that's why what I'm doing is I'm just saving this value in this location. in this variable name. So wherever I use this variable name, the value I will be getting is this one. And this is one more location, right? And I'm going to use this location with this variable name. Copy and paste it here. Understood what I'm trying to do? I just given one example like the C drive something and a D drive something. Whenever you run the pipeline, what happens that everything there is a big structure for that in the background. As of now, just try to understand these two variables are called as locations. Just understand like these two are location. One is the source location and another is the target location, destination. The source directory, if you mention agent.build directory, that means it will be from repos. It is going to take the code from repos. And when you mention the build.artifacting staging directory, this is also one more location. Just understand it is a location. And I'm saying that these two are variables, right? If you want to declare any variables in the pipeline, it should start with the dollar open, like after that it should have some braces. Dollar braces, inside that you should have your variable. And this is also variable, right? I just started with the dollar and opened the braces. And inside that I kept it. Now just save this and queue this. Save and queue means save and run. Do not make any changes. Just simply save and run. See what happens. And open this agent job and see this information. At some point of time, I will tell you what is this. Acquiring an agent from the cloud. Acquiring means getting. Getting an agent from the cloud. Whenever you run a pipeline, what happens is Microsoft Azure is going to give you a new VM, a new VM virtual machine to run your task. Whenever you run the pipeline, Microsoft will give you a new VM to run the pipeline task. And once after this pipeline is completed, it will be deleted automatically. Now you understood why Microsoft has requested for a parallelism. We sent a request, right? Why? Because earlier the n number of people are just signing into the Azure Devops and they are keep on creating the pipelines and they are running it. What happens at that time? Microsoft is getting so n number of requests to create the VMs, and once after the pipeline is completed, again they are deleting the VM. This is a burden for them, right? So that's why they have kept that HTTP request form to fill the form. So whoever sends the request, they only will be getting access to run the pipelines. I hope you guys have filled that form, right? Once if you filled and you got the response from Microsoft, yeah, you got it. Then you will be able to run the pipeline. Whoever get the response from the Microsoft saying that your parallelism request has been granted, then you will be able to run the pipelines. Okay. I think for this Hemant account also I sent on that day itself. I think you guys also will be having that access. Okay, and so see that it shows that the pipeline is succeeded, or else like it's a success. What is the task that I have used? Copy files, right? If you go to the copy files, see what it has done. It tried to copy all the files to from which location to which location. See this in the D drive slash A folder slash one slash S. It copied from all that folders from there to in the D drive slash A slash one slash A slash S to this location. That's why I was saying these two variables are called as like these two variables has the location as the value. I will explain you what is this D drive A slash one slash S later. I will explain. I just want to copy all the files. It copied. What I was saying, whenever you run the pipeline, a VM will create for you. In that VM, this pipeline has completed its task. And once after the task is completed, what it has done, it deleted, right? Now, is there any possible for me to log in into that VM? No, you cannot do it. Now I want to get the output out. Is there any possibility? There is a possibility if you want to get that output as like if you want to get that output out, you can get it. But is there any possibility to log in into that VM? Once your pipeline gets completed, you won't be able to log in because it will be deleted. and you don't have the username password also. At that time, what you need to do, whatever you want to perform, you need to mention them each and everything as a task. Then only you will be able to get the output. Understood? Now I have copied the files from one location to another location. Let's consider that is happened in the VM. That VM is already deleted. Now what I can do? Once after copying into the destination folder, print the destination folder as an output to me. Give that as an output to me. Is it going to work or not? Let's see. Publish. Print means I'm trying to say publish. Edit the pipeline. This step is fine. It is trying to copy and keep it in the destination. Once it is pasted in the destination, I want to get the output from the destination. So that's why I'm going to add one more task called publish. See, publish build artifacts. We will be having a task called publish build artifacts. What it does, publish the build artifacts to Azure pipelines. See this. In this pipeline only I want to see the output, right? Yes. Publish build artifact. And now go to copy files task. From where you have copied, from this directory you copied. Where did you keep? In this directory. So this is where I will be having my copy files, right? నా దగ్గర ఉన్న ఫైల్స్ అన్ని తీసుకెళ్ళి ఇక్కడ పడేసాను. ఇక్కడ ఈ లొకేషన్ లో ఉన్న ఫైల్స్ అన్నిటిని నాకు అవుట్పుట్ లాగా చూపించు. So if I want to get the output of all the files in this location, I am trying to publish it. Go to this step. What is the display name of this task? Publish artifact. Fine. In which location you have the files and from where you want to publish it. So my files are in this location. So publish that out. And do you want to create any folder name for that? Yes. Create a folder name called drop. And where do you want to publish it? In the pipelines itself. Now just save this and queue this. And each and every time I run, see what happening? Numbers are getting changed. How it is getting changed, I will explain later. So each and every time it is getting changed with a different number. I don't want to see the number. I want to get the date of it. Is it possible? Yes. We will see later on. And see, it is still running and it is trying to, like, if you go to this initializing job, you see that agent was created. Like, see this agent machine name. I was saying to perform your pipeline task, a VM will be created for you whenever you run the pipeline. That VM name is this. And once it is done, it will be deleted automatically. So you won't be able to log in anything. So whenever you are running the pipeline, whatever you want to do, you need to mention them under a task itself. So like that, you will be getting the output. And see, copying the files is done, and after that publishing artifact is also done. How many files it has uploaded? 235 files. And see this. So just click on the agent job and you see that one artifact is produced. Okay, so just click on this. One drop folder is there. Inside the drop folder I have S. This is what the code that I have, that sample.sln file in the repository. Now we want to prove that whether it is taking the code from the repository or not. How you can prove it? I want to prove that whether it is taking the code from the repository or not. How you can prove it? Just go to the repo, add one file here. This file should be available in the output, right? So just do that. So add new file. I'm going to make it as pipelines. Just create the folder. Sorry. The file is created. In which branch? Master branch only. My pipeline is running on which branch? Master. If you have the doubt, go to the pipeline. If you go to the pipelines, under this pipelines, you will be able to see the recent run. This is my pipeline, GitHub project CI. Click on this. I want to edit this pipeline. Click on edit. Where is this? Edit pipeline. Okay. See these options. First, see the get sources. Under this Azure Repos Git, this is the project and this is the repository. Which branch I am taking? Master branch. So my pipeline is running on which branch? Master branch. So whatever that is there in the master branch, it will take all the code. And let's queue this. I am not saving anything here because I haven't made any changes. So that's why the save and queue button is not enabled. So still if you want to run it, you just queue it. Queue means run, and see this. Acquiring an agent from the cloud. And if you see this agent name, is it different or the same one? Earlier it is started with FE. Now it is a different one or not? So that means what Microsoft told was correct. They are deleting each and every time you run a pipeline. They are just giving you a new VM, and once after it is done, they are deleting that VM. So that's why whenever I try to run, it is giving me a new VM. I can prove that it is working. Okay. Now that it has completed the task, right? Click on the agent job, and now you will be able to see one publish artifact. One second, just refresh it. Yeah, one artifact is produced. Click on this. Drop folder S, and inside that, I got it right. Okay. Till this point, any doubts in the what so far whatever we have discussed? Till this point, any doubt? What I have done was I just created a pipeline. In that pipeline, why I'm what I'm doing, I just kept some task, and whenever I run the pipeline, what happens inside that pipeline, whatever the task I have mentioned, all of them are performing. For example, let's take a simple commands: ls, mkdir, cat, all these commands. If you want to run one by one, what you are doing, you are just running one by one. You just save all the commands in a single file and run the file itself. What happens, whatever the commands inside the file we have, everything will be running, right? Like the same way, whatever the task that I keep in the pipelines, if I run the pipeline, all the tasks are going to be executed. Understood? So as of now, I just did only this copying files and publishing the artifact. If you have any questions, let me know.